Have you ever noticed how exciting progress is in the beginning? When you first start lifting, every week you're stronger. When you first start training, every session feels like you're improving. You hit a few free kicks. Your weak foot starts coming along. Everything feels exciting because the results come so quickly. The motivation is easy, but eventually something changes. The gains slow down. You keep putting in the work. You keep showing up. But this time, the results don't seem to come every day. And that's where most people quit. Not because the process stopped working, because the rewards stopped coming immediately. But here's the thing. I don't think most people quit because they stop believing in the process. I think they quit because they become discouraged. Discouragement is subtle. It doesn't usually tell you to give up on your dream. It doesn't usually tell you to walk away from your faith. Most of the time, it simply whispers, "What's the point?" You keep praying, but heaven feels quiet. You keep trying to love people, and they hurt you anyway. You keep doing the right thing, while someone cutting corners seems to get ahead. You keep taking free kicks, and they keep missing. You keep working on your weak foot, and it still doesn't feel natural. That's what growing weary feels like. Not rebellion, discouragement. And honestly, I've experienced that even with this ministry. The beginning was exciting. Every script felt fresh. Every new idea felt exciting. Every lesson I learned, I wanted to share. Then life got busy. Feedback became harder. The excitement wasn't always the same, and I realized something. The greatest temptation wasn't failure. It was discouragement. The temptation to believe, maybe this isn't making a difference. Maybe I should just stop. And I think that's exactly why Paul writes these words in Galatians. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not lose heart. Think about the early church. They watched thousands come to Christ. People were baptized. Lives were transformed. The gospel spread like wildfire. And then came persecution, suffering, rejection, prison. The excitement of the beginning gave way to the cost of following Jesus. Paul doesn't tell them, go find the excitement again. He tells them, don't grow weary. Don't let your circumstances determine whether you continue to do good. Football teaches this lesson too. Nobody has missed more penalties than Cristiano Ronaldo. And nobody has scored more penalties than Cristiano Ronaldo. The player trusted with the most opportunities also carries the most visible failures. Every miss became public. Every headline. Every replay, every criticism. But he kept stepping up, because somewhere along the way, the goal stopped being to avoid failure. The goal became faithfulness to the process. The same is true of the best players I've ever known. The difference between the top 10% and the top 1% usually isn't talent. It's the player who keeps showing up after the excitement wears off. The player who keeps practicing the weak foot, keeps taking one more free kick, keeps taking one more penalties, keeps refining the details, stays in the game until the final whistle is blown. Not because today's session guarantees tomorrow's success, but because they've decided the process is worth trusting. Harvest doesn't happen the day after the seed is planted. There's a season where nothing seems to change, but beneath the surface, God is still working. Maybe faithfulness isn't continuing because you're excited anymore. Maybe faithfulness is continuing because you've decided obedience is worth it, even when the excitement is gone. So if you're discouraged today, don't mistake silence for absence. Don't mistake slow growth for no growth. And don't let today's lack of visible results convince you to abandon what God has called you to do. Because in due season, we will reap if we do not lose heart.